Hello and welcome to the first episode of Sama's Kitchen. I'm really excited because I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. I've been exploring health and wellness through dietary change and conscious eating for over 20 years, and it's been quite a nourishing exploration for me. And tonight I was inspired to share one of my favorite recipes with you. And that is a roasted vegetable, vegan, gluten-free meal with a green sauce. And it's very simple and easy and very highly nutritious. And I just want to share with you. So the first thing that I do for this meal is I get all the root vegetables that I might feel like eating. Oftentimes I really want some potatoes, maybe some sweet potatoes, carrots, parsnips, beets. If I've grown them myself in my garden, all the better. If I've gotten them at the farmer's market, organic, all the better. The more colorful they are, the more nutritious. So I'll show you. I've already baked my roast vegetables in the oven, and they're actually not too warm. This is what it looks like. I've got potatoes, red and golden potatoes here. I've got golden and Chiaga beets as well in the mix, and I've got carrots, and the beets and the carrots are from the garden. So what I've done with this roast to make it a low-fat roast, because high levels of fat and sugar together were one of the causes of some of my ailments earlier on in life, and I discovered the low-fat vegan diet to be very helpful in my healing process. So I've learned to cook without the use of refined oils. So to make this roast, I just put water in the bottom of the pan, maybe about an inch up from the bottom, and I added a little bit of Bragg's amino acids. I can show you that. Right here, Bragg's amino acids. Well, it looks like it's backwards to you, but one of my favorite seasonings, because also salt has been an issue for me, salt intake in my healing process, and I've needed to lower the amount of salt in my diet. So Bragg's is one of the lower salt food items that really helps. Soy sauce tends to have a lot of salt in it, and tamari as well. Bragg's is one of the lower salt foods that gives you that rich flavor. And so I put some of that in it, and I put a seasoning mixture, a blend that I made, and you can make any blend that you want, depending on your mood. Sometimes I'll just put rosemary, because rosemary potatoes, right? Sometimes I'll put just a little cayenne pepper. One of my favorite seasonings is smoked paprika, and this dish is perfect with just a little rosemary, little smoked paprika, or even just the smoked paprika. Sometimes I'll put a little apple cider vinegar in, and if I really want no salt at all, I will stick with just the water and the apple cider vinegar. And that's a very satisfying flavor with the other seasonings. You can put curry spices in, or you could put garam masala. Sometimes I'll just put a little turmeric. Just whatever spices are in your cabinet that you want to try. These vegetables will just come alive in a myriad of different ways, depending on your creativity in the moment. So tonight I used a leftover spice mix that I had made at some point. That was a little bit left sitting in my cabinet, and I don't remember the name of it. I was researching a recipe at one point, found this spice mix that was interesting to me from Ethiopia, I believe. And I made the spice mix, had a little leftover. So this is an Ethiopian spiced roast veggies tonight. So for the green sauce, what I like to do is steam up some green vegetables. And it can be any kind of green vegetables. Tonight, what I have in the blender are some steamed dandelion leaves. Now this is going to give it a very rich, somewhat bitter flavor, but with the steaming, it takes some of the bitterness out, and I'm planning on adding plenty of other good flavors to balance out that bitter flavor. Now the bitter flavor is something that we don't get enough of in our American diet. We're not trained to like the bitter flavor, typically. Other cultures have very many bitter ingredients that are commonly added to dishes, and it has a lot of nutritional benefits to have bitters in our diet. So I try to eat dandelion greens and other bitter greens as frequently as possible. So if you want to try it, check it out. Otherwise, any greens, it could be broccoli, kale, spinach, chard, dark leafy greens we can't get enough of them. So I took the whole bunch of dandelion leaves, the whole bunch, and I chopped them up. I put them in the steamer, and I steamed them until they were nice and tender. I put them in the blender here with some water. And then I added dulse. And this is a seaweed, and it's in a powdered form here. Not powdered really, just sort of a finely chopped form that I got in bulk, and it gives a very rich flavor. I've also added, I think I said water, and oh yes, chia seeds. This is a wonderful thickener. That I love to use. Chia seeds, and I can show you what they look like. They're just little seeds, very tiny, and when you put them in, well, they have tons of nutrients in them that we tend to be deficient in, that I have been finding to be very helpful. They're very high in omega-3 fatty acids, just in the right balance for us. And they're really good in combination with other seeds, like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. I'm just using the chia seeds tonight, but other nights I might put in pumpkin seeds as well, or sunflower seeds, depending on my mood. And so I love these things. Not only do they have those nutrients, but they add a wonderful thickening quality to whatever you're making. So if you're making a pudding, you can add, coconut milk and a little maple syrup, some vanilla extract, maybe some fruit, and blend it all up. It doesn't have to be hot, it can be cold. It thickens up and makes a delightful pudding. Raw foodists are very much into chia seeds these days. You see all kinds of recipes. You can get drinks with the chia seeds floating in them, and it's very delightful and nutritious. Okay, so I have my chia seeds, I have my dulse, I have my dandelion roots, some water. I'm going to put a little more Bragg's in here. I just do a few squirts, and you get to experiment with your Bragg's or whatever. You could be using soy sauce or anything, and you just do it to what tastes good to you. I tend to put a little less, and then other people can add, like my husband Jeffrey, he might add a little bit more. He likes it a little bit more flavor. So there's that. And then I'm thinking of putting a chunk of ginger in here. Might go with those spices. So since we're blending this up, I'm just going to throw this whole chunk of ginger in there, and that's it. So I'm going to put this on the blender with the lid on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and we have our wonderful green sauce that has been blended up, and it's not quite very thick right now, but that's okay, because I know that in a few minutes the chia seeds will start to swell, and they will thicken this sauce quite significantly. So I'm just going to let it sit. And we'll do the next phase of the meal here. So I'm going to take you with me. Just 1 second, I'll be right back. So one of the ingredients that I forgot to mention in the green sauce is nutritional yeast. And this has a lovely sort of cheesy flavor that you can add to sauces, or even just some people just sprinkle it right on top of their food when they're getting ready to eat it. So I put a little bit of that in there as well. So the next thing that I'm going to do is make some steamed greens. And what I like to do is just take my greens and chop them up. And put them in, let's see here, put them in my pressure cooker. So this is my pressure cooker with a steaming basket inside. And this is the lid to the pressure cooker. And I'll put the chopped up greens, which I'm getting ready to chop up right here. Chopped up kale. I'm going to chop it kind of small, and I'll put it in that pressure cooker and steam it up. And then I will show you when I get back the finished plate of food. It will be wonderful. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I lied because I wanted to show you here what the chopped up kale looks like. So here it is on the tray. As you can see, I've made about 1/2 inch long pieces of the stem, and the same with the leafy parts as well. And I'm going to come over here and put them into the pressure cooker. And close up the lid. And that'll be a few minutes steaming up. And then we'll have the finished plate. So while we're waiting for the kale to steam up, I wanted to share with you a few more things about why I choose the ingredients that I choose and how I make up my recipes on the fly. You may have noticed that I'm not following any recipes. I've learned some basic foundational principles that make pretty much anything I make taste pretty good. And in fact, most of it tastes excellent. I mean, my husband and I, with the dietary choices that we've made and what we're used to eating for our health, we really can't go to even the fanciest restaurants and really be fully satisfied with the meal, because we're so used to eating such high quality, healthy food at home. I mean, we may go have something that tastes really tasty, but it usually has a lot more salt, a lot more oil. There will often be wheat or gluten ingredients in it that really doesn't agree with us. We can usually get vegan, but the combination of ingredients don't add up to something most often that really agrees with our digestion, because we've been practicing healing dietary choices for so long. And so so the recipes that I make have been an evolution of studying the health benefits of everything, but also how to make these healthy foods really taste satisfying. And so, you know, because even recipes that I find for vegan healthy foods, I'll find them, but invariably I'm going to be modifying those recipes. So what you hear in the background is the pressure cooker getting up to pressure. So it's only going to be a minute or two before we're ready to get that tail out and serve up a nice plate of food. So the sauces and other flavorings, the one basic principle that has liberated me from needing recipes to make something taste good, okay? And that principle is you want to include all 5 flavors, a little bit of all 5 flavors. It doesn't matter where they come from. You just want one of each, okay? And it could be that one ingredient has 2 or 3 of those flavors in it, and that one ingredient gives you 3 flavors. So those 5 flavors are salty, sweet, spicy, like cayenne, pepper, sour, and bitter. Now, I tend to not go super heavy on the bitter because it doesn't taste that great to me. I am an American, born and raised in California, but all the other flavors and a little bitter in there sometimes is good. So what we have, let me just turn this off. In our lovely green sauce is we have the salty with the Braggs. We have the, I didn't put a whole lot of sour in. I don't think I put any in. So there I am breaking my own rule. That's the other thing. She can always break the rules. I've discovered that with the green sauce, it's a very alkaline thing, and I just really love that alkalizing quality to it with all those minerals. And so it's heavier on the bitter this time. The greens tend to also have a lot of sweet in them. Okay, so your greens, consider your greens can be a sweet ingredient. And we also have sweet in the dish in the oven. The roast vegetables, the beets and the potatoes are all very sweet. So all of your flavors don't need to be in one part of the dish. They can be in the other part too. So we have our salty and our spicy with our ginger and some of the sweet and some of the bitter in here. And then in the we have more sweet and some of the spicy and the other herbs in the oven. So I've been doing less and less sour to move towards more alkaline in my diet as things have changed over the past few years for me. So I did a lot of sour for a while as I was moving away from salt, and then it shifted as that part of me healed. Now I'm moving more and more towards alkaline flavors and less sour. But if I wanted a little sour, I might put a little lemon juice in here, or apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar. There's some really nice gourmet vinegars out there that you can try to add to your recipes. If I wanted to put, say, sun-dried tomatoes in that sauce, that would cover the sweet and the sour ingredients, flavors. If I wanted to put a little fruit, sometimes I'll put in these sauces some dried figs or dried pears, prunes or something like that, to just give a little added zing, a little sour, a little sweet, and but I tend to try to be a little gentle with that because the combination of the fruits and the vegetables tends to be not as easy to digest. So that's it, and I think that we might be ready with our steamed greens. And I'm just releasing the pressure on the pressure cooker here. And when that pops down, we'll have our steamed greens ready to go. So I will be right back with what the finished plate looks like of this delightful meal. Okay, so here we go with this lovely bowl of the roasted vegetables, the steamed greens, and now I'm going to put on our lovely sauce. And as you can see, it has thickened up quite a bit. And it smells delicious. So lots of green, lots of lovely alkaline foods. This is a delicious vegan, no fat really, gluten-free meal that is very nourishing. Well, actually I take it back. The chia seeds do have some healthy omega-3 and omega-6 fats in them, a very balanced food, and they also have a good healthy protein source in there. So you're getting plenty of protein and healthy fats, and then you're getting lots of green vegetables, and you're getting healthy starches. It's a very nourishing, grounding meal when you feel scattered or you just need some comfort food. So give it a try. Thank you, and be well.